Hey everybody, welcome back to the Spin Rack. I'm here with the boys, PD and Cal. Say what's rocking, boys.
What's up? Ready to rock.
Hey, today we're going to be talking about Ironheart. Marvel Disney is starting up another show, and Riri Williams, and we're going to talk about this. It's going to be a difficult conversation because we're going to come out with some truths, and there are going to be some strong opinions as to what's going on here. Why is Marvel choosing to pick a character, this particular character, versus other possible African American characters they could have used who've had a long history in the Marvelverse? So here, I'm going to bring it to my boy Cal to give an explanation of what he thinks, and then we'll come back to me and we'll explain the truth.
An explanation of what?
Or what he thinks about this going on, about Ironheart. And you know what? I'll pass it on to PD. PD.
Yeah, pass it on to PD. I don't know what you just served me up. Let me hear what PD has to say.
Ultimately, they're talking about that that Riri Williams has got a head writer, what's it, Shanaka Hodge, and she's a poet, written a bunch of things, successful. So why would I have any problem with this? I have not a problem with the talent that's involved. I have a problem with the character of Ironheart, because you have a character in Ironheart, which is a female Iron Man, kind of DCing the Marvel thing. You had obviously, Iron Man passed in the Endgame movie, but you have a legacy Iron Man, which is Spider-Man. You have Peter Parker utilizing all this stuff, genius, all this other thing. They moved up his genius where he just would do gadgets, where he can kind of understand some of the stuff that Tony Stark does. I don't really ever want Peter Parker to go that far. But then, of course, you have to have these Johnny-come-latelys. And before Riri, we had Moon Girl, who was the smartest person on the planet. And now we have another girl, which is Riri Williams, taking after Rihanna. So it's like you got Riri, and she's another person smart beyond her age. She's like, she reverse engineers Iron Man's armor. I don't know how she does that, but of course it's magic. So of course,
don't forget Shuri. Huh? Shuri. Don't forget Shuri.
Shuri, the thing is, like, Shuri was, they kind of turned her into Q. So you're right. Yes, you're definitely right. But in the comics, she was like a rival. Like, instead of being in the movie, she's kind of
the comics. She was in the comics. She was an annoyance.
Well, there's that
too. and she still is.
There's that too. But in the movies, she was kind of the Q, where Black Panther's James Bond, she's the one that does the tech. We forget that, he kind of compared it that here's your costume, and I've added all these other stuff to it. So with this, we have these Black female geniuses in the Marvel comics, and we have them now in the movies. I think that ultimately I would wait and I would have her. I mean, ultimately you also have whatever they're going to call Monica Rambeau. It's like saying that actress is worth her weight to carry her own series. Why not do that? Maybe that could be fun. Is she going to be in what Secret Invasion or something like that, or Captain Marvel next? Why can't she get her own show? They showed she had some sort of scientific knowledge when she was talking about bringing photons and all this other stuff on her tank. So it's like, she has some scientific knowledge. You gave her that, where she was just sort of a police captain, or trying to be. Why couldn't she get a show?
She wasn't a police captain, was she?
Yes, she was.
That's what she's trying to be. Yes, that's what she came up, and then she got the powers and trying to save this energy that this guy had created, and someone was misusing it. And then, of course, in helping, she gained all that power. So she gained that power.
And she did it all in a bikini.
So, I mean, I just think in this case where we have this thing rolling, Marvel, and the thing we were discussing earlier or yesterday or some point was that this stuff wasn't necessarily a success for Marvel. Which we had Moon Girl, we had another Wasp, we had Riri, we had all these characters that were trying to applaud diversity, or was it America? That character. We had all these characters, and the books were kind of selling the other way. Now, they might find their audience via these things, but the fact is that they got a buzz in the media And usually when you have a buzz in the media, like Death of Superman, you have Man of Steel, anything that these things have where there's a buzz in the media, it would turn into sales. Outside of possibly issue number 1, I don't think the sales went down. So it's like you're picking out these characters, and it could be a case of Blade, where you have Blade was a character and you did something cool with. But Blade isn't like any of the other characters that you're taking. Blade is an original cool character that's from the past. Riri is a legacy character. We already have Spider-Man for that mode. He's like Tony Stark is in, what was it? He's in the first Spider-Man, and he's sort of the legacy character. He like his ghost. He sort of haunts the whole second Spider-Man movie. So what do we got Riri to do something where it's I secretly did all the other stuff. And you also have you have Miles Morales going in cartoon form. He might find his way into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Who knows? So to my mind, I just kind of not with doing Riri Williams, despite what they've kind of propped her up to be as smart as whoever she's as smart as, and not smarter than Reed Richards and Tony Stark and all this stuff. It's just sort of not really giving us a character. It's just saying, hey, what's the guidelines? Like back in the 90s, someone would create a character and say, all right, we have Guy Gardner, he was now called Warrior. Now he will be as strong as Doomsday. It's like, okay, now everyone's into the fact that Tony Stark is smart and they pushed him past Reed Richards. Okay, we have Moon Girl. She's as smart as Tony Stark and Reed Richards. Oh, smarter. And like it's just like checking off these boxes instead of saying, what's the character? What's going to make this character different? And that's what they did when they created Monica Rambeau. Like, let's make this character a little different. Let's have some fun with her and have her find something. She became an Avengers character, but that didn't mean she couldn't have been a character on her own. But, especially in the movies, but, this is play to the tech thing. I mean, they're getting the tech aspect which was the aspect of the Marvel characters, this hierarchy of these geniuses, in different forms of Dr. Doom and Reed and Tony Stark and Hank Pym. But now they're doing it where it's like, okay, but they're all white guys. So let's get some babes in there. Let's get some hot babes that are brilliant in here too. And of color. Sorry, I should have said that, but of color babes that.
But no, I think I don't even know if they're gonna be hot.
Too much, guys. Too much. What's your take on that, Cal?
I think he's got it. I mean, Monica Rambeau, again, this is a character where if you wanted to do something different without literally the lazy aspect of, okay, let's do something different. Let's just make him black or make him female or make them both. And that way, this character is automatically different. No, Monica Rambeau, if you look at the character and you look at Marvel was an alien. Okay, he was a Kree. He had cosmic awareness. He was all different powers, different reason for being at the end of the day. And then you come over and you look at Monica Rambeau, take away the fact that she's female and black, it's still a totally different character. Okay, police officer, different locale, okay, different rationale for everything that she's doing. So again, you had a totally different character at the end of the day. And that's the stuff that's missing from here. This is more like, all right, we want to put some diversity in here because why not? People are asking for it. We'll make a couple more bucks that way. So let's just throw this person in there. But we're not just going to throw the person in there. We're going to throw the person in this guy's role so we can try to hedge our bet to make certain that we still get what's going to be coming to us. So we're not going to give you a good fresh character that we're going to actually introduce you to and build it up. No, we're going to make certain that this person hangs onto the coattails of whoever. So when you're coming in, you're still getting like, oh, this is going to be sort of like Iron Man. And then, of course, at some point, oh, wow, she's even smarter than Tony Stark ever was. Look at the stuff that she's doing. Look how easy she makes it look.
I don't know if that's exactly what they're trying to do, but they're gonna. Sounds like almost like you're saying it's a bait and switch.
Yep.
Are you serious? Marvel's doing that and DC's doing that? No, I don't think so.
You don't think so? Why not?
Yeah, why not?
It's called IRONHEART, not Iron Man.
Does she have a heart issue like Tony Stark?
What does that matter? Her name is Ironheart.
Why is the name Ironheart?
Yeah, that's just a throwback to Iron Man having the heart issues that he had for decades until he finally had the surgery in the 90s.
It doesn't run. It doesn't work. It doesn't work.
What doesn't work?
Yeah.
You know, Ironheart is the name that she has. Ironheart does not necessarily say, "Hey, this is a suit. This is a Iron Man." This is not doesn't tell you automatically that it's Iron Man.
What does it tell you that it is, though? That's the question. What's it telling you that she is? Iron Heart. It's something in her heart is iron. Nope, that's not. She has armor on. So it doesn't have anything to do with anything. It's a name. It's a 90s sort of name. It's not a Stan Lee sort of name where the idea is that it would tell you who the character is, and without a say, oh, the iron. So, but what's the heart part of it? No, we don't concentrate on that.
Yeah, don't pay any attention to that. We just want you to know this is the female Iron Man. We don't want to say Iron Woman. So we just have to have. We got to have something else over. We got to have we got to have a noun there, so we can work that whole thing. So we can have that. So we can have like that double thing going on. So that's pretty much.
It would be different if she was the Invincible Iron Man, right? And she was in that comic book, and then
no, she's the Invincible Ironheart.
But I'm saying, and then she would take over from that comic going forward. But she didn't. This was just an introduction to the comic, and she had her own comic called Ironheart. That's what I'm trying to say. It's a different thing. Okay. We're not doing this cup. What's that? Those guys, the 3-card Monty. You go out there and they move it around.
That's a good way of saying it. It is definitely a card party where we think Tony Stark and we get this Riri Williams. Oh no, it wasn't. It wasn't the prize wasn't on that shelf. We missed it out. It's the wrong card.
That's not what I meant with that. The other way around, right, Cal?
No, you got it right. It's all like scam.
Yeah. So
it's a bunch of peekaboo. It's a bunch of peekaboo. Don't take your eyes off that cup, because as soon as you do, they're gonna come over there and switch that card.
Yeah. I mean, look, they're trying to get some new and fresh characters in all of these different Marvel titles.
They got 3 main characters.
No, I'm just saying here you got Ironheart in Spider-Man universe. You got Spider-Gwen, right? You have the Miles Morales coming out.
Derivative / this is like basically maximizing your money with these same sort of characters. And then the people who don't read comic books are just like, hey, look at that. That's great. Look, Riri. Look, diversity. And it's just like, go out there and support the comic books. It's easy to watch TV because you're already watching TV. Go in there and be like, oh yeah, it's on TV. I'm supporting it. It's like these comic books, like, go out there and buy it. If that's the case, go buy the back issues. I mean, obviously there'll be some buzz around it for the first week of the TV show, and then those prices will plummet into the.
And they're playing LCD, lowest common denominator here, because the idea is as long as this is someone who is not white and not male, it must be good. This is great. It doesn't matter about any of the other stuff that made those characters great, regardless of the fact that they were white or male. The whole idea is that, hey, as long as we have those particular things going for us, then hey, this is an ace character. Everybody's gonna love it. Everybody should love it, or else.
I don't think anybody's thinking that at all. I'm trying to say. I think they're trying to rate this character on its own. There is a market for.
Sure about that? I want to say that before I show you the next thing. If that's what you're going with. You're going with that. That's what you're gonna say. Because I'm going to. Here's the Time magazine.
It actually says Iron Man is a new teenage African American girl.
This was back in 2016.
And it doesn't say Iron. It doesn't say Ironheart. It says Iron Man.
Well, she got the Ironheart afterwards. It didn't come right away. You know that.
Mm-hmm. They know what they're doing when they write those titles. It's the same stuff we discussed the other day when they're talking about Superman is going to die. He's not dying.
Dude, I really think that you guys have a hard on for Bendis, and Bendis did this, and so
I think you forgot this is a kid's show. You better watch that language.
Well, look at
we don't want kids asking mom, "Hey, what did Mars mean when you said this?" We don't need that. Okay.
All right, I stand corrected.
Well, look at in this thing where they talk about it. There's a new Iron Man that's in red. They're talking about the comic series Civil War II, right? And then we get to it. It's like barely noticeable, right? But then they created an Iron Man writer is still selling you on Iron Man. So it's like this thing of this is what I had issue with. If they decide to make a new Iron Man and that was his story, not to say I'd be with it, but I mean, I had to go back to Rhodey. Like Rhodey happened, they were doing a story about Tony Stark dealing with alcoholism, and they didn't go to Time magazine saying we have a character actually struggling with that, and a black character takes over the mantle of Iron Man. They just did the story. That's all I'm asking. If he's gonna do this, instead of somehow he gets a press release, he creates them, then he goes off, just makes some money off them, and next year they're doing a TV show, and now he's like, raking in the dough again. And saying that he caught him out to Seth Meyers, talking about, hey, you put together all the ideas of Spider-Man growing up in Queens, it would probably be a black character. It'd be a person of color. What? So I never sat around and looked at Spider-Man and said, you know what? If we replay this history, it would be a black character. Don't be like look at the Time magazine. This is all I'm at. This is my issue here. My issue is if he wanted to create that and have another character in that.
Who's he? You mean who's he that you're talking about?
Brian Michael Bendis.
Exactly, the guy that you guys constantly down again and again. You know what I'm trying to say?
Don't try to shift. Okay. Don't try to deflect. Okay. Deal with the point that you have right in front of you.
He has created Naomi. You think Brian Michael Bendis is automatically just creating these characters out of the blue? He sees a market. He did Riri Williams in the Marvel verse, and he's done Naomi in the DC verse. And both of those characters he created have been greenlit for shows. Okay.
This is the thing. They're saying that. Let's go back to Miles Morales. We had the whole Childish Gambino talk about a black Spider-Man. Then he said, no, we were planning on doing it. And then, the Donald Glover talked about it and, kind of, but they still got the buzz. They utilized the buzz that happened. They didn't say, you know what, we can't do that now. They're like, no, we're going to give what the audience was asking for when Donald Glover asked for it. They gave him exactly what they asked for. They filled the void. And he's like, no, it didn't come after that. He sure did benefit from it. Got all the goodwill because people were like saying, give the black characters a chance. Let someone else wear it. Like Spider-Man is only what? He's not even 30 in the comic books. He's been like 24 for years.
Isn't he younger than that? I thought he was younger than that.
He should be, but at the same time, he's been in his mid-20s for years. Why would he now need to be giving up the Spider-Man thing and let someone else get a chance when the character isn't even that well liked within the story? Like he has a bad press release. J. Jonah Jameson complains about him all the time. He's not within his framework of something that someone else would immediately want to. Maybe there's some kids like the kid who collects Spider-Man and said, wow, you're a great character. And then some kids would then say that he gets a mantle is what people complained about with Jim Shooter when he was like, hey, we should be able to change these to anybody. Anyone should be able to pick up the mantle and that sort of thing. And it's like, no, that doesn't work. It should be not DC where you have one character after the next picking up the same mantle. That this Spider-Man is one character, Iron Man is one character. You can do legacy stuff, but I just don't. This is what Time magazine. Come on, that shows you what it is. It's not real.
I don't get that at all from it. I don't get that at all from it. I see that, he created Miles Morales, he created Riri, he's created Naomi. Miles Morales has made it to the big screen with his own movie. Now you have Riri, who's getting her own show. Naomi's getting her own show. He sees that there's a market that's underserved, and therefore he's trying to fill it. He's definitely using, well, not Naomi, but for the other two, he's definitely using characters who have, he's extending brands to characters who normally would not have been there. That's all he does. War Machine is part of the brand for Iron Man.
I'm not disagreeing. I'm not disagreeing that it's still derivative. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that the difference being is he's not getting the show, and at the same time,
he got a movie.
It's coming, but not yet.
He had a movie from before.
Which movie did he got by himself?
I thought we were talking about Miles Morales.
Oh, Miles Morales. I mean,
back me up on this, Cal. You know that. Didn't he have a movie? Yes or no? Yes or no?
Miles Morales?
Yeah, Miles Morales had a movie.
Yes, he had a movie.
Okay, that's all I need. You see that? Petey, you wrong, bro. I don't know what's with you,
I
bro.
thought we were talking about
You know?
Rhodey, and he's not. He's on the back burner of the Disney slate.
Rhodey never had a movie, and Rhodey's never going to have a movie.
He's gonna have a TV show, right?
Didn't Rhodey-
War Machine.
Yeah.
Oh, he's
I did
going to.
not
It
see
didn't
that.
happen yet.
There's a whole bunch of stuff that I did not see. The next thing I was looking out for was, well, there's a whole bunch of other stuff they got coming down the pike, but
Yes.
I did not remember that one or see that one. Oh, wait a minute, is that going to be him in Armor Wars? Is that him?
He's in Armor Wars.
I guess
Yeah.
that's what it's gonna be. Yeah. So they're taking another Tony Stark story and then using it for Rhodey when Rhodey is just a government stooge. Sorry, I said that all out.
What the hell, bro?
Oh, that's how they got him played in the. That's how they got him played in the
Mars
MCU.
One world government, bro. Mars one world government. Don't go there, bro. Don't go there.
I have
Right.
to. How many movies he turned into the stooge? Hey, I'm taking the armor.
He still works for the government. He's a colonel or a general. He still works for the military.
Harry Howard
The
was-
dude was the Iron Patriot. You don't get more stooge than that.
He's not a stooge, bro.
He's a total stooge.
Proud to be an American.
No, you got the wrong music. You need to play that other one. From the Three Stooges. There you go.
Dude, why do you always bring down the conversation, man? You're talking about something serious here, and you want to bring the Three Stooges in here.
Hey, I'm not happy about it because, I know Rhodey from the comics, and in the comics, he's definitely, that's not the same character. But in the films, yeah, he's a stooge.
And he's had his own. Didn't he have his own comic? War
Yeah.
Machine?
He had his own comic. He was the leader of his own team. All that stuff.
Right.
But they're not immediately deciding that, hey, let's give Rhodey a comic book. They're like saying, hey, let's give this 15-year-old who's from MIT, who was able to reverse engineer Iron Man's armor somehow. Like, it's just like, hey, this sort of, you know what? That's the other angle of having these kids. Like, the hard part of it is that they're just not coming up with something that's in its own thing, where it's different. It's like, okay, we've seen these geniuses that come into these things and they work. I don't know. They become successful in doing this stuff, and not becoming big like Iron Man or any of the other Marvel type characters. Just trying to feed off of the other success is what kind of hurts it. Instead of saying, what am I going to come up with to make this thing interesting? That's why they didn't go that far with Spider-Man, making him as smart as Reed Richards or like Tony Stark and Hank Pym. The stuff he is just basically gadgets and a couple of different formulas that he can put together. He's not someone that would go as far as that. They've kind of pushed it to that, but that leaves him being different. So there was a hierarchy of people's what their backgrounds were. And this is just like, hey, this is that one. Obviously, Riri can travel through time. Because at one point, Tony Stark couldn't, usually on his own, travel through time. It's not until like way later when Bendis got on there where he's already traveled through time a couple of times. I mean, even in the X-Men, I think they had post-Bendis, the Beast has traveled through time a couple of times when that's not in his wheelhouse either. And that's all I'm saying. Make them so it's somewhat different, where you have like, was it Hank Pym? He's into the ants, and he's also into like sort of like the robotics, that sort of thing. That's sort of his frame of reference. So those are the two things that he's into. Dr. Doom and Reed are kind of the Renaissance men. They follow, but Doom goes more to the mystical side, and then you got Tony Stark that's industrialist. Come up with something else that would be cool. Not to say I reverse engineered Iron Man's thing, so I just put some armor on, and all of the magic that goes into Iron Man goes into Riri. And that kind of
they did the same thing similar to the extension of the brand with Winter Soldier. I don't hear you complain about that.
Have you met me before? You know how many times you complain about me complaining?
Yeah, you walked into that one, Mars. But the idea is, again, their approach to genius is like a genius is this unilateral thing at the end of the day. And you have like Reed Richards is your full out genius on just about every level. Okay, be it be it okay, be it munitions, be it industry, be it all that other type of stuff. That's Reed Richards. But the other guys were supposed to be geniuses when it came to specific fields, and they don't do that anymore. It's just, hey, you can just come and see some tech. Oh, I can sort the whole thing out. They don't differentiate between somebody who's like Iron Man is supposed to be, like the literally the industrialist, somebody who's visionary genius along those lines. It's just this uniform thing, and that's where it becomes very staid, and that's where they don't allow the character to have his or her own footing in terms of being different, because all this is what this is just Iron Man. This is just Iron Man, and just female and black at the end of the day, and that's not going to be enough to go the distance. It's not going to give you enough legs, and eventually people will say, when this was really good, when we had Iron Man as Tony Stark, and then that's when he comes back.
Okay. I mean, I don't say I agree with that 100%, but I see your logic, both of you. I can take things logically and try my best to try to interpret that as such. Though I do think that part of the thing is colored by the whole dislike of Michael Bendis. It's
We do not dislike Brian Michael Bendis. That's not true.
Oh,
yeah, well, you see, there it goes. There it goes. There's no fair and balance here,
I
bro.
dislike his work. I dislike his
Yes.
work, and I gave him I did no, I couldn't get into Ultimate Spider-Man. I did give him a chance when he was working on the X-Men. I didn't like the premise that he was going on there, but when he brought the X-Men back, I was like, okay, he understands the dynamic, and then he decided to chip away at the dynamic of the original X-Men, making those original ones in the past, the ones which was Roy Thomas and who was it, Werner Roth, that period of X-Men, and turn them into Claremont characters that have all this wacky backstory and all this weird stuff in it, which he didn't have to do. He didn't have to run and tack on all this dumb stuff to them, which they didn't need. That's my problem. He goes everywhere, he lays waste to everything, and then people can't keep the book selling like he was, and he still looks like the great one. When fans, the success of your title should mean the same way when you had the Dark Phoenix saga, and you had, what's that thing, in the Days of Future Past, when Byrne and Austin leaves it, and a whole new team, like a team that's been on there in the past that wasn't successful with the title, takes the X-Men to bigger success and bigger success after that. So that's what we need to do. We always have these things where people are jumping around, they have some success, and then even the same with like the Morrison Doom Patrol, where you have that where it's still regarded as some of the best stuff. And I think was it Rachel Pollack? She takes over after that, and you're like, that is the worst thing. And then everyone bails and that sort of thing. And it's like the testament of your success that someone should be able to follow it and or do better, that sort of thing. Whereas now it's like we kind of follow creators. So, and people are following. He's the king of it because he's been able to keep that success. Most writers kind of run out of steam. There's been hot writers that held on for it for a while, but he's been able to hold on to it and not really falter yet. So
Yeah, I thought how do you like that? That's fair and balanced, right? Fair and balanced.
that don't mean I can't take my shots.
And doesn't mean
You know,
he
it's
won't
like
take his shots.
You're machine gunning.
Yeah.
You
I
just slowed it
haven't
down this
I
time
haven't
to be more
caught
accurate. Just
I
to be more accurate. Bop, bop, bop,
Yeah.
bop. You did take your shots. I mean, it's hard for me to come back from that in that, I mean, I don't think there's anything that's going to change how you feel, no matter how you interpret it and stuff like that. And
What? I thought that Superman, I thought given a chance, we'd have some cool Clark Kent stuff on Superman. And I ran out of steam on it pretty quickly. I didn't have that much problems, maybe because I didn't pay attention to it, but I just ran out of steam on it. I didn't see things that were necessarily that wrong is when I compared it to the X-Men, the Avengers, Spider-Man, like ultimately, like the end of the Ultimate Universe, killing Spider-Man, and it'd be this thing that really hits home, where there'll probably be like a situation where Wolverine died. It was like, what happened to him? I kind of like Spider. It'd be like a afterthought instead of saying he was the best among us. He's one of the best. Ultimately, in the amount of times these guys meet up, it's like, yeah, I met Spider-Man once before. He was decent. Like it would be like, I'm sad that he's gone. It wouldn't be like he was the best among us with Captain America's carrying him around and all that stuff. And he's like, he took the bullet for me. I think that was the story that he did. And this would affect the Ultimate Universe and that sort of thing. Even though he got beat up by Miles Morales, because Miles Morales got shield training and all that stuff. Don't make me think I forgot that he creates this character and somehow what do you need? Of course you need some sort of shield training to be Spider. He all these different wacky powers. Why does he need shield training? Well, that's what we give him. He's got to have shield training too.
Dude, you're taking too many pot shots, man. You're all over this.
That's a story. I didn't come up with it.
I mean, if there's nothing else positive to say, I mean, we need to close out this section.
He's a successful writer.
Huh?
He's a successful writer.
Very successful writer. He is lauded by the industry of what he's been able to do.
He's definitely a successful writer. He's really good at hacking out those stories.
He said that's what he is totally against, hackery. He does not like hacking, even though that's what he'll do to the midnight's end. Hack means just basically making sure it happens every month, no matter what. He'll change the direction of a book, no matter what, just to get the next story. And once you get to that point where you change it up and flip it, and someone else can't pick it up after you, you successfully hack the book into submission. Sorry.
Or probably they wanted to go another way, so you can't necessarily knock the person before them. Because we've seen that often where a run ends and you're like, oh, they're going to continue. Nope. They're going on a totally different tangent. Stuff like
Jim Lee left the X-Men, still successful title after Jim Lee left. The top guy, Mr. 8 Million, leaves the X-Men, right? The biggest sale that it's ever had. And the X-Men title's still holding on, doing their thing in the 90s, possibly, until Bendis came along and said, hey, let's take Wolverine and Spider-Man out and cripple this thing. So, it's got a history.
I don't know. I mean, right now, when I take a look at the X-Men, they don't really top in the top 20.
Yeah.
Top 23.
Because of him.
He's been gone for years, okay? He's been gone for years.
Damage was done.
Yep. He did it.
All right, guys, so let's wrap this up, because, I mean...
The last thing would be that this is what we call, people used to complain about with Superman, which they used to call it the adolescent the power fantasy. Like now this is what I guess Grant Morrison called the ultimate power, like these characters that somehow are just the smartest person on the planet that comes in to become these things. It's just the same thing over and over again. But we say, well, we haven't seen it with the black characters yet. So let's get these characters out. And it's like, go look around. And that's the thing. You don't want to decide and say, you know what? If they did Bill Foster in the Ant-Man movies, go find someone out there. There's characters in there that they could try to pull out and make into other characters, or look at actual Monica Rambeau comic book and not have her just do superhero landing. All right, I'm going on too long. I'm sorry.
Cal, do you have anything to add or take away from all that?
No, I think Petey said it all.
Yeah, Petey said it all, and you lost me there. I don't know what you have in your bottle, vodka, whatever, but you lost me there.
I need some after this one. I get the Patron. Know it. I got some gin. I got some Patron here.
Why do you need gin if you have Patron? Why do you need gin?
Someone already gave it to me. So.
Okay, why do you need gin?
I'm saying I have that in the house. That's what I have in the house.
Like ginger beer?
Huh?
Like ginger beer?
No, just gin. Hendrick's gin.
Never had gin.
No?
I don't know. Is it a separate drink?
Yeah, you make drinks out of it if you want. I mean, that's what we've been doing. It works.
Like,
huh?
Oh, So hey, let's cut this out. Spin rack.
Out.
Oh,
If you like what you do, comment, subscribe, give us a thumbs up. Out.
later.